Everything revealed about Marvel's Wolverine points to one very strange setup. Mutants are already in serious danger. Trask is hunting them, the Reavers are capturing them, Jean Grey is trying to find them somewhere safe to live, and Logan is being pulled back toward Team X. He is even wearing the yellow Wolverine suit that most people connect with the X-Men. But according to Insomniac, the X-Men have not formed in this universe. That is not automatically a problem. Mutants can exist before they become a team. Many of them may be living alone, hiding their powers, or believing they are the only person going through this. Trask changes the situation. Once mutants are being tracked and taken away, hiding may no longer be enough. They would need protection, but they would also need somewhere to go after they are rescued. That is why the lack of the X-Men could become one of the most important parts of this story. Before guessing whether the game might eventually tease that team, we first need to understand why it may not exist yet. Based on what Insomniac has shown, mutants still appear to be living in the shadows. A young mutant could discover their powers without knowing anyone who can explain them. Some may hide what they are for years. Others may lose control once and immediately expose themselves to their family, their neighbors, or Trask's people. In that kind of world, mutants would have very little reason to trust strangers. Meeting another mutant would not automatically create a community, especially when anyone could be followed or used to find others. That could explain why no organized mutant team existed before the game's story. But Trask appears to be turning private fear into an organized hunt. Once that begins, surviving alone becomes much harder. A mutant who escapes one attack may still have nowhere safe to return to. So if the X-Men are not there to fill that gap, who is? From everything revealed so far, the closest answer is Team X. The official prequel comic presents Team X as a group formed by Nathaniel Essex to fight Trask. Logan works alongside Sabretooth and Mystique, while Sunfire also joins them during the comic. The game appears set to pull Logan back into that world after he has already left it. Essex has disappeared, Team X is in trouble, and Logan may be returning because the people he once fought beside no longer have many options. On the surface, Team X sounds close to an early version of the X-Men. It is a group of mutants fighting the people who are hurting other mutants. But Team X seems built for missions. Its members can attack a Trask facility, fight the Reavers, and get prisoners out. When nobody else is helping, that work matters. The problem would begin after the rescue. Where does that mutant go? Who helps them understand their powers? What happens if returning home would put their family in danger? Nothing revealed so far suggests that Team X has a real answer. Logan, Sabretooth, and Mystique may be able to protect people during a fight, but that does not mean they can build a stable life for everyone they rescue. The group also appears unstable. Logan has already walked away once, and the story may bring him back only after Essex disappears and Team X begins falling apart. So Team X could keep mutants alive without giving them much of a future beyond the next mission. And that missing part of the rescue is exactly why Jean Grey could matter so much. What Insomniac has revealed about Jean suggests that she is looking at the same crisis differently. She appears to be searching for mutants who are alone and trying to give them somewhere safe to live. That does not confirm that she is forming the X-Men, and the game may never take her story in that direction. But it does mean she is thinking about what happens after someone escapes Trask. Team X may be able to get a mutant out of a facility. Jean seems more concerned with whether that person will still be safe later. She may want to give them support, help them understand their powers, and let them live without immediately being sent into another fight. That could create an important conflict for Logan. Fighting is the form of protection he understands. Building a home, asking people to trust one another, and staying long enough to help them would be much harder for him. The story may place Logan between Team X and Jean's approach. One gives him a target and a mission. The other may force him to decide whether protecting mutants should mean more than winning the next fight. But Team X already has a creator, and his influence may explain why it never became anything more permanent. That brings us to Nathaniel Essex. Comic readers know Nathaniel Essex as Mr. Sinister, but we still do not know how closely Insomniac's version will follow that history. What matters is that the prequel material places him at the center of Team X. He found Logan, gave him a role, and appears to have been the person deciding where the group went and what it fought. That may have given Logan purpose. It may also have made Team X dependent on one person. If the group only works while Essex is giving orders, then it is not really a community. Its members may know how to complete missions together without knowing how to continue once the person directing them disappears. That could explain why this world has powerful mutant fighters, but no lasting mutant organization. Essex may believe he is protecting mutants, or he may be using their fear to keep them focused on his goals. Until the game releases, that remains a theory. His disappearance could force Logan and the others to decide what Team X was actually meant to be. Was it created to save mutants, or to keep useful mutants under Essex's control? The answer may decide whether Team X becomes the beginning of something better, or falls apart completely. It may also change how we look at Logan's yellow suit. The interesting question is not simply who made Logan's costume. Wolverine has worn costumes outside the X-Men in different comic stories, and Insomniac can give this Logan his own reason for choosing the yellow suit. Its existence does not mean the story has made a mistake. What makes it stand out is everything around it. Logan already looks like the Wolverine most people know from X-Men history. Jean appears to be searching for mutants and thinking about a safe place for them. Team X is already fighting the people hunting them. Insomniac has shown several pieces that audiences normally connect with the X-Men, while making it clear that the team itself has not formed. That feels less like an accidental gap, and more like something the story may want us to notice. The suit does not need a complicated explanation. The larger question is why Logan, Jean, and the other mutants have reached this point without creating anything more permanent than Team X. That is what the finished game will need to explain. Because Marvel's Wolverine has not released yet, we do not know whether the story will move toward the X-Men at all. Charles Xavier may never appear. Jean's attempt to create a safe place could fail. Team X could break apart, and Logan may finish the story still unwilling to belong to any group. Any of those directions could work. The game does not need to end with a familiar team standing together, and it does not need to turn these characters into the exact lineup comic readers expect. What it will need to do is make their separation believable. If mutants are being hunted on this scale, the story should show why they still struggle to trust one another. It should explain why Team X became their closest form of organized protection, why Logan left it, and why Jean may believe a home can succeed where a strike team cannot. Most importantly, it should show whether Team X is helping mutants move towards something better, or only keeping them alive until the next attack. The absence of the X-Men could work extremely well if it feels like part of this world's history. It would feel much weaker if the finished story used Trask, Jean Grey, the yellow suit, and a mutant team without explaining why none of it led to something more permanent. Based on what has been revealed, Insomniac appears to be setting up the same problem that normally makes the X-Men necessary. That does not mean the team is definitely coming. It may mean the story is showing why a group like them would eventually be needed. And that leads to the real question at the center of Logan's story. The most interesting question is not whether Charles Xavier will appear in a post-credit scene. It is whether Logan will realize that protecting mutants cannot end when the fighting stops. Team X may be able to rescue people. Jean may be trying to give them somewhere to stay. Essex may have his own reason for keeping mutant fighters under his direction. The game could bring those ideas together without ever forming the exact X-Men team we already know. But by the end, their absence should mean something. It should tell us what Team X could not provide, and whether Logan and Jean can offer mutants anything better than surviving from one fight to the next.